Hello, 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 in front of a live virtual audience. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we are here every Wednesday on the Crowdcast platform. And I am your host, Steve V. This is episode 587, alongside partner in crime, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. It's such a lovely evening.
It is a
How
little
are
bit later.
you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. A little bit later in this episode, we are bringing on Dr. Elliot Justin to the show, who's going to be talking about a really cool device, sex tech advice, firm tech that we all need to get, and I'm really excited for him to break it all down for firmer, stronger erections and so much more. And I can't wait to get into that conversation. There is so
Love
much
those.
though to break into, because Team USA Gymnastics, I am on a high right now, Kodi. I've been
Mhm.
watching all early on this week. I have been glued to the TV set with Gymnastics, partly because I don't know if it's because I am a former gymnast that I'm just really into it so much because of that, or because the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Simone Biles, is on her redemption tour and slayed it last night with the team gold. Talk
Yes.
about a comeback from Tokyo when she suffered from that mental thing called I forget what they called it, but it's a thing that is she had a whole mental thing. Or is it because the men's gymnastic team that is so diverse and, dare we say, dreamy,
Super
all of
hot.
that is making me just want to tune in. And I am so happy for all of their wins. Like I said, Simone Biles took home, and the team, the gold in the team finals last night, and it was amazing. And Kodi, there were so many celebrities in the audience. It was like a who's who, from Michael Phelps, a former Olympian himself,
Yeah.
to oh my gosh, every celebrity was in the house, and it was just really cool to see. It was so emotional because they tell these stories of them. And Soon Lee, who I was in the last Tokyo Olympics, and here we found out in between that time she was in college, but then she had a whole kidney disease that plagued her. She gained all this weight, and it happened overnight, and she didn't think that she was ever going to compete again. And here she is, a gold medalist. The men's gymnastics got the bronze, and they haven't won awards like this since 2008. The
Wow.
level of difficulty they're showing, the amount, I know a little bit of that, how hard it is and how much I had to practice when I was practicing all those years ago. But I can only imagine now the level of training and the dedication, and it was mesmerizing. And I was beaming all last night into this morning, and I'm
Wow.
so happy for them. And I can't wait to watch some other there's more gymnastics, but I'm going to be watching some other sports along the way as well.
Nice.
So
I was
yeah.
watching I was watching the diving yesterday.
How
The
was
synchronized
it?
diving. It was so intricate. I think, Tom Daly did wonderful. The Chinese team did amazing. And
Nice.
everybody's enamored with the Olympics right now. You should see the comments here. They're just lighting up. So I think
Oh,
that, oh yeah, Bryce says yes, and the men's bronze and women's gold. And he said something about the twisties. I'm not quite sure what that
twisties.
means.
Yes, that was the word I was trying to say, that Simone Biles in Tokyo 4 years ago had what they call the twisties, which is a
Oh,
mental thing where you are going to go up. I kind of know a little bit about what she's talking about, because
mhm.
when you're about to do some of these hugely difficult routines and like release moves where you have to release it like on the high bar and do a twist and then grab it, and then keep going and dismount, and at 11 feet in the air, you are mentally going through the routine in your head. You
Mhm.
practice, but you can also get a little fearful, and it can get almost your wires crossed, because
Wow.
there's the level of difficulty, and the stakes are so high in gymnastics, because you could easily kill yourself at any moment in time. You see what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's more, almost more than any sport. It is one of the most difficult sports in the world to do, because it's you could break your spinal cord at any point in time. So you have to really be so focused, and that's what the twisties gets in your mind. Like, you're like, it's that crazy. And I think that's one way of explaining it.
Wow. Yeah. I did the what's the horse that you jump over the horse, and I hurt my back that way because I landed flat on my back. So I know
Okay.
that they can hurt themselves pretty well.
Yeah. So,
So,
anyways, that's what that is. One thing that is really the breaking news: there is a record 191 out LGBTQ plus artists at this year's Paris Olympics, and as opposed to 186 in Tokyo, and that's not that much more. But I think it's just a testament to the fact that you know there probably have been LGBTQ plus,
yeah.
athletes all these years. We were talking about Greg Louganis back in 84.
Mhm.
It was not cool to be out really in 84. And then, of course, he had HIV on top of that. So he certainly wasn't going to be talking about
Yeah.
that. And so I think that it's such a great time and an open time to be in the Olympics. The Olympics is supposed to be about, I was talking to my barber yesterday, and I was telling him, yeah, Russia's banned from the Olympics, and they have been banned for the last several times. And he's like, well, why? And he's speaks Russian at least, but he's not from
Uh-huh.
Russia. And I said, yeah, the Olympics is a unifying event. It always has been. It's where nations come together. It's the one time where we are supposed to be at peace and show our harmony, but compete in a beautiful way. And yes, it's a competition, but it's not supposed to be anything but a beautiful, unifying, global experience. That
Yeah.
it's not football, American football, where we're all just here in America, or soccer in Europe, where it's only they get it. It's no, we're all unifying under the same umbrella this 4 times a year. And so I think
Yep.
that's why it's so important. And and yeah. So back to the point of like LGBTQ plus, do you find it surprising that there's more and more?
Well, no, because they were always there. But again, like you said, they probably feel more comfortable coming out now because things have progressed. Maybe their countries have made it more acceptable for them to come out and feel safe and secure in their positions at the Olympics. So a lot of things can change in 4 years. And this is a testament to it because people feel free to come out and express who they truly are.
Absolutely. And, one little quick note on the last 4 years. If you remember, Tokyo was 2020, when we were in the middle of a pandemic where everyone had their masks on, and they flashed back to that. And I'm like, ugh, it was so horrible to that time period. And I'm so glad to see everybody free and mask free, and we can just really be back to embracing each other. It does bring up now, Paris Olympics has given out 300,000 condoms to athletes,
Oh.
continuing a long held tradition. Condoms have been available at the Paris Olympic Village, returning to tradition after the IOC issued an intimacy ban and social distancing orders for the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. And like I said, it didn't have anything to do with Tokyo per se, it had
Mhm.
to do with the pandemic back in that time frame. And so they 300,000 condoms. But here's a little bit of interesting: when it was held in, and they started this back in Seoul Olympics in 1988 as part of a campaign to raise awareness for HIV during the height of the AIDS epidemic. And over the period, guess which city had the most? They had to almost put out more condoms when they realized their initial amount of 70,000 would not be enough. Rio.
Oh, I was gonna say somewhere in Brazil for sure.
Yeah, Brazil, you were correct. In 2016, they actually put out a certain amount and had to put out 70,000 was not enough. And so we're
That
currently,
70,000 was just for me, just so everybody
yeah.
knows.
And what's interesting is the reason we're up to 300,000 is because people are actually, they're taking these at least. And so we're assuming that they're using them. A lot of athletes in the article I was reading said that they're strictly there, and I would probably be in this mindset. At least I would probably be, okay, I'm here to perform and I'm all about performance and not thinking about sex at all, especially when you're on the stakes are that high for your country. I would not be, I would have, horse rafters on my eyes, like forget it. But if I was
Blinders?
blinders, yes. But if I was at the first part, like the gymnastics is at the first part of the Olympics, uh at the second part, I would be grabbing a ton of condoms.
Oh yes. In the off time, definitely. I would be out there. Well, no, all the time during my when I'm doing the flips, even when anytime, anybody can get it anytime because that's what you're there for. You're there to experience everybody else's culture. And go ahead.
Bryce says, "I watching us live because we are live in front of a virtual audience. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have sex until all of my performance are over." Yes, thank you, Bryce. That's
Ooh.
exactly where I'm at. Doug says Stephen Noder Osick. Yes, I meant to mention him as well. He is the pommel horse specialist who only at one point he decided he was only going to do the pommel horse. He made it to the men's Olympic USA team, and actually that it was a moment to watch in TV history because it was his final moment. He had to wait hours and hours before he did this one thing, and everything rested on his shoulders.
Oh
If he
wow.
had to get that score, and he wears these goggles that he really just kind of wears as a lark that somebody gave him at a Secret Santa. They're these
Hmm.
goggles, but it's become his thing. And he's so cute and so fun. He did the routine and it was epic. And he killed it.
Ooh.
He got the score. He brought
Oh, he's so
home the
cute.
bronze. Oh, he's adorable. He brought
He's
home the
so cute.
bronze, and it was like everybody was screaming. I've been crying and screaming watching these. It's that good. So yes. Oh, and he's visually impaired, right?
Oh,
He's
is he?
had it all from muscle memory. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow, that's
So,
impressive.
really, really good stuff. So, oh my gosh. Yes, I think we have time. Okay, we're going to switch gears here before we bring on our guest because we normally don't talk too much about politics, but we had to talk about today where former President Trump actually was on. He was at the Black Journalist Conference today, and I don't know, he wasn't really invited. He basically crashed the party, and he was on stage, and the journalists did not hold back on the questions they were asking him, and they went full force, right, Kodi?
Yup.
She went full force, asking questions about essentially everything, right? And one of the things when she got to the question, she asked him. She asked him whether he agreed with Republicans on Capitol Hill who have characterized Harris as a DEI hire, and he responded by questioning Harris's heritage. She was always of Indian heritage, he said, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black? The former president said. And it's like, wow, talk about not answering the question, talk about the wrong thing to say at this particular Black journalist associations who are going to clap back immediately because they know their stuff. What did you think?
Well, first, I want to say that Donald Trump will never answer a question directly. He will use deflection and obfuscation to hide his true intent and opinions, which has
Yeah.
never been, it's always been the hallmark of a con man, if you ask me. And I mean, he uses it also to discredit his opponent and kind of take credibility away from them. So I just think that he was using those tactics here in full force. And yeah, I think that Kamala should be incredibly offended that he would even try to negate or question her blackness. As somebody who comes from a dual identity nuclear family, I completely understand what it's like to kind of be in the middle of two ethnicities and two cultures. So for him to come out and say that, it offends me personally, because I think that it's really, we go through, me personally, I've gone through my life wondering where I fit and who I can relate to, and just kind of trying to explore both of these cultures and see how they align with me as a person and how I grew up. And for him to sit there and say that she hasn't been black until recently. No, she's always been black. She's identified as black. She went to a historically black college, and from my perspective, she did that in order to kind of revel in her blackness and to actually see what she had in common with other people. So of this ethnicity. So I think it's too much. And he went a step too far for me personally.
Oh, I think for many of us, he went too far. And, I've always had friends of mixed racial descent too, and they do struggle. I think Halle Berry,
I
I'll
definitely
never
had
forget. I love how I said friends, and I went into Halle
She's
Berry.
a
I
friend in
wish
my
she was
head
my
too.
friend, but yeah, she's friends in my head, but I'd love to be her friend. But she is black and white,
Yes.
and her mother at one point, mother told her, you need to just go towards your black side because you look more people black, and people, it was getting confusing for people, and she chose that side to identify with more just because
Hmm.
of her color of her skin. But that's sad that you even have to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
now she doesn't do that, but I think, you know that's, yeah, I mean, Barack Obama.
Yeah, exactly. And he tried to question his Americanness by
Yeah.
say, so he does it all the time. I want to tell a really quick story. When I was younger and I was in elementary school, my grandmother would come pick me up, and they called my mother to ask to ask her if this lady is allowed to come pick me up, because my grandmother, she looks white. So they were like, yeah, it's wild. And they tell me these stories now, and I'm like, wow, we had to really struggle and find our place in the world early
Yeah.
on, even then. So it's wild.
James says, but we need him to do this to dig his own grave. I was
Uh-oh.
thinking that too, James. Exactly. I was thinking that the when he lost last election, Doug says Trump's the same guy that says windmills causes cancer. He's off his rocker. Absolutely. And with that, we're going back to sex, and we're going to bring on our special guest, Kodi. If you could bring him
I'm
on,
doing it right
let's turn the
now.
fire into sexual fire. Hello, Dr. Elliot Justin. How are you?
It's good to be here, and I want to say that his mission might be make America great again, but my mission is to make America firm again.
I love
Yes.
that. It's Dr.
Trying to be
Elliot
firm.
Justin. Yep. Dr. Elliot Justin is the CEO and founder of Firm Tech and an acclaimed expert in the rapidly evolving sex tech and wearables industry with a unique focus on the intersection of sexual and cardiac health. I love all this because at first I was like, wait, I don't really understand that essentially, but essentially it's kind of like people wear Apple Watches or the Aura Ring. I have friends that track their sleep. I have friends that track their exercise. This, can we call it here in the gay world? It's a cock ring, yes?
It's a dick bit.
It's a what?
Dick bit.
Dick bit. Okay, we call it a cock ring,
Perfect.
and yeah.
It is a cock ring,
However,
though.
it's a cock
And you know
ring.
what?
that, but also has a tracker on it that you could, with your phone, keep track of. You tell us.
Well, worn overnight, it counts the number of nocturnal erections that are a leading indicator of a man's cardiovascular health. So in the medical world, we say leading indicator, that's predictive. That's profound. So in medicine, we treat associations. High blood pressure is associated with heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, but it's not predictive. But if your number of nocturnal erections goes down by 50%, you are likely to have a cardiovascular event in the next 2 to 3 years. So we've had 2 men I know get cardiac catheterizations because their data went down. So healthy man should have 3 to 5 nocturnal erections per night, and they should total duration should last over an hour. And by the way, in terms of sleep tracking, every episode of REM sleep, quality sleep, is accompanied by an erection. And we're doing research right now, which I think I'm confident is going to show that tracking your nocturnal erections is a more accurate way of tracking your sleep than wearing a ring or a band. So our ring can also be worn during sex. And so during sex, you measure how hard you are, how long you last. So on the medical side, the data can tell you about your cardiovascular health. It's predictive. It can tell you about the status of your diabetes. It can tell you about the impact of medications. So one of the things that we doctors do is we don't take sex seriously. We're assholes about sex. So I'll say, the three of us are different ages. I'm 71, and I think you guys are different ages as well too. Not too much,
53.
Won't reveal.
But if we all went, if we went to a doctor, doctors never ask about your sexual health. They never ask about the status of your primary relationship, whether it's with a man or a woman. They don't ask about a marriage. And that's profound. Here's something that's profoundly important to people, especially as they get older. The primary relationship, how good is it? And they don't ask. And we know that men who have sex every day can cut their cortisol level in half. And the cortisol is a stress hormone. We know that men over the age of 70 who have sex twice a week versus twice a month can cut their cardiovascular risk of dying by cardiovascular disease by 50%. You're going to die anyway, but have sex because it's going to help things. And we know that in the straight world, and I suspect it's true from looking at my gay friends as well too, you guys know more about this than I would, that men who have sex with their primary partner, twice a week versus twice a month have half the divorce rate. And that's a profound changer for people, especially people who have kids, because the impact upon the children, let alone one's own mental health, the impact upon the children of a divorce, is profound. So, and sex is a use it or lose it phenomenon. So doctors make recommendations about diet, sleep, alcohol, drugs. We don't make recommendations about sex, and we should. People should have sex several times a week. So the data is profoundly valuable. And in this age of, you mentioned wearables before, in this age of wearables, smartwatches, smart rings, smart bands, what do men care more about? The dick or how many steps they took yesterday? That's a rhetorical question. everyone
on this show, what the answer is.
Definitely.
Yes.
So, and you mentioned the word cock ring before. And
yeah,
in the medical world, you're not going to believe, you probably already know this actually, they call cock rings constriction bands. Now that's like some fucking Nazi term. Especially what guy with ED, or what guy was anxious about having ED? A doctor say, hey, Kodi, you need a constriction ring. Let's constrict your dick. I'm like, fuck that. So and the other thing men can do with this technology, and I want to get the benefit of rings in a moment, because all men should use rings. And it's one of the ways in which gay guys are a lot smarter than straight guys. But I'll get to that in a moment. But you can measure the impact of PD5 medications. So, is the right dose to me 5 tadalafil, 10, 20? What's the right dose? Is it even working? So the same thing with a lot of the other interventions that men commonly do, which is testosterone therapy. Okay, is it making my dick harder or not? What's really going on? Because I want to take men's sexual care out of the subjective world of speculations. Hey, this worked for so-and-so, or anecdotes, or hypothetically this should work for guys, into what's objective. And we can all, now with technology, we can make ourselves what I call an N of 1. So in medicine, we talk about N meaning the number of subjects in the study, and the more subjects, the more accurate it is. But another way in which we doctors are assholes is we treat everyone as if we're all the same. So if all three of us on this call, and everyone in this audience, if we all went to a doctor, regardless of our age, and said, when I exercise, my pulse, it's really bounding, it's really strong, and it's irregular. And that doctor, your internist, your cardiologist, whomever, just put his finger on our wrist and said, hey, Kodi, I'll pick on Kodi again. Hey, Kodi, or I'll pick on myself. Yeah, you're right. Your pulse is really strong and your pulse is irregular. Take these 2 pills and come back in 3 months. We would think, what the fuck is this, 1900? I want an electrocardiogram. Don't you have a blood pressure cuff in this office? How about some blood tests? And so that's where urology and sexology are for men. It's that primitive. You go to a doctor, your internist, cardiologist, you go online, you go to a urologist, and they just give you a pill and tell you to come back. Rather than the therapy being data driven, like, hey, if you're taking blood pressure medicine, and by the way, if your doctor 40% of adult men in the United States have high blood pressure over the age of 40. If you're taking a blood pressure pill and you don't have a blood pressure cuff at home, that's stupid. Get a blood pressure cuff and take your blood pressure. Just the way I'm encouraging people, men who have diabetes or hypertension or obese or have ED, get your data before you actually get a therapy. Take a pill that has side effects. Get your data. But then there's cock rings. So cock rings, 90% of gay men in the United States who have sex regularly, which is defined, and I think this is kind of irregular. It's defined as 1 twice a week. I think it should be every day. You guys probably agree too. But 90% of gay guys use cock rings, and only 10% of straight men do. So one of my goals with FirmTech is to mainstream cock rings, because now they're improved, and I will explain why. So cock rings, I first put on a cock ring. Well, I first tried out road bands when I was like 13 years old. But I first put on a cock ring, really early, and they've been made the same stupid way for 150 years. They are paradigm is a hard silicone ring. They pinch, they're uncomfortable. In order to get the full benefit, you have to have a full erection because it's a chokehold. It's a fucking noose in your dick. I don't know about you guys, but I suspect that you, like me, you don't want to lynch your dick. I don't like lynching my dick. And,
right.
And as soon as and if you're a guy who's and I don't have these problems, you probably don't either, but many men do. If you're a man with compromised circulation, with diabetes or hypertension, you don't want to compromise. If you compromise circulation to the tip of your dick, you're compromising the sensitivity of your favorite part of your body, maybe after your brain. It's up there with the brain, my mind. So
no, who needs a brain?
So the benefit of a cock ring is it'll sustain an erection. The benefit of a cock ring is it'll hold more blood in the penis, potentially making it more sensitive. But they suck. They're and then you have that, the male mindset is come and done. After you come, you want to dig the fucking thing off your fingers and toss to the side. So in order to come up with a cock ring that could be worn overnight comfortably and count nocturnal erections, we had to reinvent the cock ring. So our cock rings are made out of elastomer. They're soft, they're stretchy. Our cock rings open and close with a hook. Why? When I was challenged to come up with a cock ring that count nocturnal erections, and the doctor this famous professor of urology, he's now my chief medical officer, Dr. Hotelling, he was a cock ring virgin. So he really wasn't able to think about this problem like a lot of straight guys. I'm into sex toys. So my thought was, why count nocturnals? Let's go for all erections, and let's make a cock ring finally that a man can wear for prolonged sexual sessions as well too, and get the data about what's going on while he's fucking. So you guys would know about this because you're in the gay world. Women's bras are really uncomfortable.
Okay.
Now we see women constantly adjusting their bras because the back panel of a bra is made out of silicone, and silicone irritates the skin if it's on the skin for a long period, for a long time. So I would say, it's fun. I could use the big word that's popular today, and I hate it. Heteronormative. Fuck that word. Let's talk about gays and straights. I'm an older guy. I want to talk about gays and straights. In the straight world, I would say in a committed relationship, probably half of the sex that starts when a woman is getting a back scratch at night because of the bra is irritating. So I saw my wife's bra on the ground, and I opens and closes with a hook, and I thought, duh.
There you go.
There you
Why do
go.
we make a bra is a ring that goes on over the head and opens and closes with a hook. Women don't put on bras over their head. Why are we putting these cock rings to stretch and snap into place? And you have to have a full erection in order to be fully effective. Let's make a cock ring that opens and closes with a hook. Now for me, probably like you guys too, I'm fit. I can look down, I can see my dick. I'm not, by the way, I'm dressed right now. But
damn it.
There are a lot of guys, especially guys over the age of 40 or 50, they look down, they fucking see belly. That's their real world for them. And putting on a cock ring is more of a challenge. So if you have something open and close with a hook, it's easy on, easy off. So
I love it. Kodi,
yes.
we want to get a question in there.
I was just wondering. Thank you. I was just wondering, what is the particular demographic for this? You keep mentioning the three of us, saying that we're different ages, and but who is this for?
Sure. Well, we sold about 13,000 products. So on the tech side, we sold about 3,000 tech rings, and we have dick data that no one else in the world has. And we documented close to 50,000 erections. So
I have a different meaning for that. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
So I just thought of something I shouldn't say. Okay. So who's our demographic? Well, the demographic for the tech ring, which is the ring with the data, falls into two groups. The guys in the 35 to 50 year age category who want to know their data. They want to be able to track their health in order to hack it. And they own smartwatches, they own Whoop, they own Aura, they have a Fitbit, they own a Peloton. They want to know their data. And what data do men care more about than this data? The other group, the non-tech ring, which is the maximum performance ring, which is less expensive. This ring I designed, having come up with the other ring, and now I want to come up with just a great fuck ring for men. I want to fix the cock ring problem, the big cock ring problem that gays are more aware of than straight guys are, which is that they pinch, they're uncomfortable, and they don't intensify the orgasm. So I was thinking, okay, I can come up with a ring made out of elastomer rather than silicone that can be worn for longer sex sessions. Because who wants to have sex for 20, 30 minutes? I want to have sex for 45, 50, 60 minutes. And I want to intensify the male orgasm. So what do guys have? Vibrators, they're so for guys. They don't have the anatomy that women have because our nervous tissue is deeper. So I want to put the right amount of pressure over the urethra to prolong the male orgasm, male ejaculation. Not choke it off, but prolong it. So we tested it on 21 men, aged 28 to 70. I was the oldest man in the group. And when every guy in the group, using the different degree of tightness and elasticity of the elastomer, when everyone had an ejaculation phase that lasted that went up 50%, we made that. So my ejaculation with maximum performance ring goes from 4 seconds to 7 seconds. That's we all, especially you guys, we all think of ourselves as a connoisseur of our own orgasm because we start jerking off at age 11, 12, 13 years of age. But I don't have sex without a cock ring now. For me, before, cock rings are novelties, and now I don't have sex without a cock ring. And my wife says she's glad the kids are out of the house because I'm really noisy.
Me too.
and to take it more into your world, or part of your world, one of my good friends in LA, who's he's a doctor and he's that professionally, but he's a sub, and he goes to parties. And one of the things he kind of challenged me with when I got involved with this was, I want to stay hard when I'm on the bottom. And because I lose my erection, I'm turned on, but I lose my erection, and I want to stay hard when I'm on the bottom. So the great thing about the maximum performance ring for gays and for straight people too is that it'll keep you hard with a lot less stimulation. So, and that's to take it, and I know there are two DOMs in LA, no one in San Diego, who use this ring to tease guys, because teasing a guy is a lot more fun if the guy has a hard on than if the guy is losing a hard on because of whatever impact play is going on. So So we sold over 10,000 of the maximum performance rings. The ring with 9,000 of the rings out technology. So and we sell them both as a bundle. So
Wow.
if I had a mess, go ahead. I'm talking a lot, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys.
No, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really a confidence booster too, because oftentimes, like you say, the bottom or even definitely the top, you're worried about keeping that erection. And this is something that is just, I mean, I'm going to start wearing a cock ring more often too, just
I
because
want
I think
5.
that thing that you just get in your mental. We've been watching the Olympics, and that thing, you don't want to get out of your mindset. You want to be focused on the game, and the game is sex. And so this is just a confidence, booster.
We all get venous leak syndrome as we get older. And I wasn't even aware of venous leak syndrome until I got involved in this area. And it's like, duh, it's so fucking obvious. So venous
Can you
leak
share
syndrome,
a little bit about what it is? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Venous leak falls into 2 areas. One, there are guys who unfortunately are born with it. So the sphincters and the muscles in there that could hold the blood in the penis and the veins are weak. They're born with it. This small number of men, and they discover, unfortunately, when they're teenagers, that when they're jerking off, they lose an erection. It's really bad.
Yeah.
But the venous leak syndrome that I have, I don't technically have ED because I can have sex every day, but the venous leak syndrome I have, and that the 51-year-old guy sitting next to you there, you might have it as well too. Maybe not someone as young as you though, Kodi. I doubt it. But
thank you.
as we get older, we don't. It's hard for us to stay in erection. I'll go at the straight wheel for a second. When you're really young, you hold someone's hand, you just get hard. Like 13 years old, you get a hard on for like fucking an hour and a half. That doesn't happen to me anymore. It doesn't happen to me for a whole variety of reasons. But one of the reasons is as we get older, the muscles around our venules, the small veins in our penis, and the vessels themselves must become weaker, and the vessels become stiffer. So the blood leaves the penis more easily, and that's why a cock ring is valuable to men. To draw an analogy to the other part of the body. If I sit on a plane for 5 or 6 hours, my socks might get tight. My rings might get a little tight. That didn't happen when I was Kodi's age or when I was 25 years old. It happens.
I'm only 25 and a half. Okay.
It happens to all men as they get older, and it's aggravated by diseases that I don't have, by diabetes, by high blood pressure, by atherosclerosis, and it's aggravated by medications that doctors prescribe without thinking about men's sex, which are antihypertensives, antidepressants, which are also big cock killers. So the PD5 medications with Cialis and tadalafil and sildenafil and Viagra and tadalafil being the big ones, they put more blood into your dick, but they're not really good at keeping it there. And so ED breaks down to 2 categories. There are men who can't attain erection and men who can't sustain erection. Men who can't attain erection, if that's a consistent problem, you need help, dude. You need to see a urologist, and you might have a cardiovascular problem as well too. And that's beyond. We can diagnose that with a ring, but that's a big problem. But
you should be up on your health with that, yeah.
If you can't sustain erection, it can be lots of factors. It could be performance anxiety, as we talked about before, being sex in public. I don't know about you guys, but for me, being sex in public, that ain't happening unless I get a lot of the right stimulation. And it's so easy to get into a negative mindset about it. We just say, oh, well, fuck this. I got to leave the party. It ain't happening. There's performance anxiety, alcohol, drugs. It could just be a particular person. And then there's the big ones as you get older, which are diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, medications. And a ring helps. A ring, if you can attain erection and you lose it, a ring, especially a comfortable ring like ours, becomes a mechanical solution. You're no longer putting a lynch in your dick. You are helping to support the weaker veins. And I don't like to describe this in terms of a crutch for guys.
Okay.
That's the whole. This is an enhancer that every man should embrace. As we get older, we should embrace, as the gay community has, cock rings as a solution. So we did a study of detumescence. You guys know what detumescence is?
No.
Okay. So detumescence is a medical word for the time it takes for your erection to go down after climax. So the more blood that's held in your penis, the longer it takes to go down. So what holds the blood in your penis the longest? So we did a comparison of 10 milligrams of tadalafil to the maximum performance ring to both combined. So and again, the age range, these are largely men without ED, without significant ED. The age range 28 to 70. It was 20 off the top of my head. It was like 25 to 30 seconds with nothing. Done, flaccid. And it can no longer penetrate. Then with the tadalafil, 10 milligrams, the most popular PD5 medication in the United States, it was a little bit over 2 minutes. With the maximum performance ring alone, it was over 4 minutes. And with tadalafil plus the ring, it was a little bit over 5 minutes. And that there's an independent study being going on. It's going to be presented in the fall at a sexology meeting. So the takeaway for all men is, if you want to rock the hardest and the longest, put a ring on it.
Hey.
And if you want to last even longer, take a pill on top of that. But most men who have EDs or have performance anxiety or just want to last the longest, especially straight guys, they need to overcome their inhibition. Put a fucking ring on it. Grow up and enjoy it.
I love it. Okay, and people can go. We want people to find out more about this. It's myfirmtech.com. I put it in the link there. Is that how people can get the? The products are amazing, and there's, like you said, there's the original that you came up with, and then it goes all the way up to like a smartwatch where you can actually track everything and bells and whistles on it too. But I'm excited to get started on mine, just the basic one or whatever. Yeah, because that's the one that I think sounds really cool. How else can people find out about it? Where do you want people to go to beyond this?
You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on on LinkedIn. We're not that active on Facebook, although we do put things there. And if people want to contact me personally, it's Elliot at myfirmtech.com. Whether you're gay or straight, there are a lot of guys who have they can't get their questions answered by their doctors. And I might not answer right away, but I speak to or email with probably like 2 people every day. So if you have complicated, there are guys out there. I'm looking at you guys. You guys look healthy, and I'm healthy too. But there are guys out there taking multiple medications. There are guys that have prostate cancer, and the data is really, really valuable. It's really, really valuable. With data, you can start to figure it out. Without data, you're blind. We're all on the road from fitness to dysfunction, and we all would like to stop where we are on that road and make a U-turn, but we have no way of looking under the hood. Our engine.
Yeah.
Right. And with data, you can do that.
Well, I think it's brilliant. It's FirmTech. It's where we are at now. I can't believe it hasn't come out before. I'm Dr. Elliot Justin. Thank you so much. We will link everything in our show notes and to your Instagram and to your email that you just said. And thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. Very cool. Okay. Very cool, Kodi. I can't wait to get on our FirmTech for sure.
Yes.
We've been using, cock rings for years, but how about one with a purpose and that has a methodology behind it? And he's right. Data is everything. So,
and that hook is just ingenious. So I'm so glad.
Have you ever tried to put on those hard, I used to get these old ones. They were really cool looking, but they look like you got them at the hardware store, and you're pushing your nuts,
nails and everything
between them, and you're like, ow. And then you're trying to push the other nut in there, ow. And it's like, why was I going? It was the old school bras.
Yeah. And forget about if you have any hair down there. It's the worst.
Yeah. So, no, absolutely not. Oh my gosh. Okay. We have a couple more hot topics to get into. The gays were recently asking what fantasies are hot in theory, but not in practice. And it was a Reddit thread that went on, and several folks mentioned things that where a partner finishes can make a big difference. For example, getting bodily fluids on your face might sound hot, but it may The unintended side effects. Getting cum in the eyes is
Oh
the
my gosh.
worst, lamented another. Hate when that happens.
Me too.
Getting cum shots up your nose is just as bad, argued another. Eyes are the worst, but getting dried cum out of your beard is a close second. Oh, yes. I've had recently dried cum all over my arm that I've like, I got to take a shower.
That's kind of my goal, honestly, to get dried cum on somebody. So
It
if
is
you hook up
actually
with
really
me,
nice,
expect it.
actually. Yeah, it's and to revel in it. It can be. Other folks sounded off on taking action out of the bedroom and into the bathroom. Getting busy in the shower isn't all it's cracked up to be. Dangerous, slippery. Someone always is cold and come on, turns to glue in hot water. Unless you've got like a super fancy huge shower, it's just disappointing. Yeah, don't try and get into a small tub here in New York, right, and make it a whole thing. It's not a spa. Specific sex acts like rimming are especially problematic in the shower, as one user responded, is basically waterboarding yourself. This is a funny, topic, I think, that what sounds good in theory but isn't necessarily as hot in. The only one that came to mind that I've had happen to me in the past was years ago. I was having sex with somebody and they were on top of me, but like leaning in, and they opened up a bottle of poppers and they were
Oh.
not being very careful. And I was looking up like, oh, this person is not doing this right. Somehow, you can tell someone's a little
Yeah.
off kilter. And sure enough, I was right. And he was sniffing away, tilting the bottle. Have you ever been around somebody that's like holding a cocktail, like a martini glass, and
Yeah.
they're like, they don't know how to hold that glass. They're
Yeah.
about to spill it. I'm like, no. Just let's tilt it back here. I'm a biggie on this drink is too close to the table. Let me push this over
Yeah,
here.
I do
You're
that
about to
too.
spill that. Let me help you over there. Well, the poppers spilled into my eyes, and poppers in your eyes. Well, I pushed them off of me. I ran into the bathroom because my eye was burning, put tons of cold water as I could. I mean, I wasn't
Oh my
blind, thank
God.
God. And I mean, but needless to say, total sex moment off. But it was just more carelessness than what sounded hot. But can you relate to what they're talking about in this thread?
Wow, I am aghast by that story. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't know what I would have done, but I'm sorry that happened to you. Wow. Okay, so yeah, originally when we talked about this, the first thing that came to my mind is anything in any type of water, in a pool, in a shower, very uncomfortable. It looks hot, but technically, and it's just not. It's not something that you can aspire to. It's something that's not functional. So anything with water, and trust me, getting cum in your eye is not a good experience. I love
I've never
shooting
had
cum.
that. Does it really
No,
burn?
it burns. Probably not as
It's
bad
like
as
a natural
poppers.
substance. Well, I guess if you got
No.
urine in your eye,
It's salty, and the saltiness of it
Yes,
really
everything's
affects
salty
your
these
eye.
days.
So yeah, those are the two that I would have to say that. But I love coming on somebody else's face. But I mean, I'm very careful when it comes
You're
to
supposed to
where I
kinda
get
close
it.
your eyes when
Yeah,
it's like you see it coming, and then you kinda hopefully you perfectly see it or when they're coming, then you kinda close your eyes, and hopefully it just oozes all over, and
the
then
warning is everything, because the reason I got cum in my
yeah.
eyes because I was sucking this guy off, and he didn't let me know when he was gonna come, and it started to get in my mouth, and I was like, it's getting in my mouth, and then I just pulled back and then right into
Ah,
my eye.
did we get
Exactly.
that?
Yeah, he got that, and I cussed him out. You have to let me know when you're coming.
MJK watching us live says, had the exact same thing happen with poppers in my eyes. I feel your
What?
pain, right? I know. I mean, think about it. There is actually somebody that came up with an ingenious contraption that you take the cap off and you put this other cap on that is supposed to eliminate that thing of happening, or on the dance floor of spilling it. And
Yeah, I have
I've
one.
never used it, but I should probably use it now that I've told that story. And if I
They work.
find it, I will bring it out, and we'll try and I tried to get that person on the show way back when they sent me the product, and yeah, I will. Yeah, good one. Okay, let's get some advice out to
Ooh.
which one did you have one you liked more than another?
I like the sensual tops, or we can do the guys who cruise in the locker room too, if you want to do that one.
Okay, let's do that. Guys who cruise gym locker rooms, how far do you take it, especially when it comes to general nudity? I've been cruising for a while now, and while I can be aggressive, I usually err on the side of caution overall. This means a towel on always, shower curtains 80% closed. That said, at the YMCA, what is this, the 70s? I've been going to guys have been way more open. No towels, curtains completely open, cruising for 20, 30 plus minutes. All this to say, I'm a little unsure how I should cruise myself. I have a Prince Albert and it isn't small, though I am a grower, so my dick is pretty small when soft. So that has me hesitant to go fully naked. Oh, maybe you need the firm tech. So, what do you all think? What's your general cruising aggressiveness in a gym? Are you more cautious or more wild? And lastly, how long do you cruise? I want to cruise in the gym longer, but sometimes it feels like guys just keep on cruising, and I feel worried on being in the gym so long. I feel like gym cruising, I'm sure it still happens. It
Oh
has
yeah.
to. I don't know. I just think my gym cruising days and all that is like over. And believe me, I've been working out in gyms for eons.
Yeah.
Like I am 53 and all over, San Francisco, LA, New York. And then all of us, and then I was a personal trainer at one point. So I was in personal training gyms and I was just a gym bunny. But in the last several years, and I've had fun. The last time was when I first moved here and it was at a gym that doesn't exist anymore. And it was the way it worked, to answer this person's question, was because I think it was a later Friday night, like maybe
Mhm.
it was 24-hour gym. And I think I was there at like, 8 o'clock, and I didn't know a lot of people when I moved here. And so I was like, I'm just going to go work out on Friday night. And there wasn't that many people. And that also meant there wasn't that much staff or that many
Mm.
people walking in and out that were going to like bust us. And some guy, I walked in and they had steam room there. And that's to me
The
a
best.
key. So two things. I think a key is if there's a steam room, then you're for sure all bets are off. You've got yourself a good cruising moment there because come on. And some guy walked in and was like cruising me, and I gave him the eye, he gave me the eye, and then I was getting hard. At that time, I didn't need firm tech, and I opened up my towel, and he came over and blew me. And I could
Ooh.
see in the window if somebody was coming, and then I think I came, and then he like walked away, and I was like, oh wow, okay. But I mean, I feel like most gyms don't have steam rooms anymore. They've tried to
Yeah.
get rid of all that. I don't know that is it really a thing anymore?
I think it is. I look on Sniffy sometimes and I see that in the gym there are several people there that are looking to hook up. Like you, my gym cruising days are kind of over. I'm going to suggest to this person that you should probably err on the side of caution until it's proved otherwise. That, like, if you go back to that YMCA and you see that people have their curtains open, I say join them and make sure you get that Prince Albert out and you have a great time. Me personally, I have cruised and hooked up in gyms for a while, but it was a while ago. And I mean, one of the hottest stories was there was this guy that had been looking at for the longest time, and he was in the shower, and I went in the shower, and he had his curtain open, and I had my curtain open, and then I just popped into his shower stall, and we closed the curtain, and we just got it on. I ended up going back to his house. It was a hot, hot time. So I the length of time that I usually would cruise or be in the steam room would be about half an hour. After that, I would be like, this is, if it hasn't happened by now, it's not going to happen. So yeah, it can be a good time, but I agree with you that it's a dying art.
Kind of a dying art, yeah, I
Yeah.
think. But good luck and let us know. And lastly, and just those that like are produced by Straight Up Gay Porn, where we talk about thirst trap, they didn't have one just yet this week. So we thought we'd end on one of our favorite people, Ricky Martin, who has spoken out on his rumored new man, ex Juan Yosef, who's flaunting his divorce body. So you know they're divorced now, and Juan's apparently posing his. Kodi was all about the divorce body of Juan
And I'm about to
Yosef.
show y'all too.
You show them
He
because I'm
looks
like,
good.
but meanwhile, Ricky has announced that he and husband were divorcing after 6 years. And since then, he has been keeping busy, touring, hanging with Madonna, and getting rave reviews for Palm Royale. And at 52, he disclosed that despite not being on any of the dating apps, he was having fun meeting guys. Earlier this month, he was abuzz with rumors that the Spanish language media was abuzz that he had a new man in his life. And it all started when journalist Jose Manuel Parada told the Spanish entertainment show Y Ahora that Martin was spotted canoodling with a handsome man backstage at his concert in Spain. Well, the man traveled 800 kilometers to see Ricky, and he thanked him very affectionately for his visit, Parada said. The one who is going to see him at this concert, Bose is a renowned Spanish pop singer and was in a long-term relationship with Palau from 1992 to 2018. And since they're split, the couple has been involved in a contentious custody battle over 4 children. So also, Palau was also on Spanish a reality TV show, I think Survivor. And so Ricky Martin laughed it off and said couldn't be further from the truth, suggesting that they were just friends. But people are you surprised by this, Kodi, that people, I mean, I looked at the guy though. I was like, that can't be somebody for Ricky. And Juan Yosef's divorce body, he looks great body wise, but I'm not attracted to him at all. Like,
I think
leave Ricky. Just Ricky needs to be himself, and yeah, he needs somebody better than these two.
Well, I feel like, dang, everybody catches strays.
He's Ricky. I mean, come on. These two are so ordinary.
Wow. Yeah, I think that this is going to be happening a lot as far as Ricky Martin is concerned, because he is so famous and now he's single and he's out there ready to mingle. So I think it's going to be attached to a lot of people. I can see it for Nacho. I think that, he's probably got a great personality and he's handsome-ish. And I think that, and his ex, Joanne, he can call my number anytime.
Okay, well, you go after him. I love it. Oh my gosh, so much fun today. We want to thank Dr. Elliot Justin for joining the show. And like we said, you can go to myfirmtech.com. In show notes and everything else, we will be listing his Instagram and his email. So if you have questions, but really exciting stuff over there, you can always follow my co-host Kodi. He's a life coach. Follow him at KMD Coaching on Instagram, or his personal account at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V, or my personal Twitter account at TAGSPodcast, where you get a preview of my Just for Fans and Only Fans. Don't forget, August 15th, Thursday, 9 o'clock, we are live with our live stream where we are going to be telling personal stories that you haven't heard on this show. Plus, Kodi is singing 4 songs, including new songs, including the brand new song, Talk About It, inspired by this show. And we're starting tech rehearsals. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yep. And it's going to be really good. And the way to get a ticket to this is to grab a tier on our Patreon page. And when you do, you get extra special sexy perks like commercial-free podcasts. You get our extra bonus episode once a month. You get access to our Discord channel, which we are activating now, and so so much more. It's going to be a lot of fun. Go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast. By the way, go there anyway, because even if you don't grab a tier, we are posting all kinds of extra content that you won't see anywhere else, not on our social media. I just did a behind the scenes with Kodi and I the other day. We were on the beach that you get some content, Kodi's birthday, and we're going to continue to do that. So even if you don't join for free, go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast and just get the free content. And so that we know that you are tuning into when we're not live on this show. So we appreciate it. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Thank you.